Welcome to East Alabama Today, featuring topics, events, and interesting people from all over East Alabama. Hosted by Carl Brady. Now, let's get right to the show. Here's Carl Brady.
Hello, everyone. Welcome into East Alabama Today. I'm Carl Brady. Thanks for being with us on our program today. As always, we'll start things off with a little contact information for you so you know how to get in touch with us. If you have an idea for the show, we would love to hear from you. And we want to know about the things that are going on in your community, whether it be fairs, festivals, special events, things that are happening in your neck of the woods that are related to your community and your neighborhood, your school, your church, your civic club or organization, anything that's happening and going on of a nonprofit nature, we want to know about it. And who knows, you may find yourself invited to be a guest here on East Alabama Today to talk about your special event or subject. So anyway, the best way to get in touch with me is to send me an email, cbrady@tv24.tv. That will come directly to me, and you can let me know what you have going on in your neck of the woods. We also want to know about the interesting people who live in the community. Maybe you know someone who's a writer, an artist, or a musician. Maybe they have an odd or an interesting hobby and you think they would be a great guest for the program. Those are exactly the kind of folks we are looking for. So shoot me their email information as well, cbrady@tv24.tv. And remember, if you happen to miss an episode of East Alabama Today, or if you'd like to go back and review some information that you've seen on a previous show, you can do so online at tv24.tv. Go to the on-demand section, scroll down, and click on East Alabama Today, and there you will see a whole series of East Alabama Today shows that you can watch at your convenience right there on your phone, your tablet, or your computer, however you would like to watch those. Again, that address is tv24.tv. Hang out with us. A great show coming up, and we'll be back to start it off in just a moment. Hello, everyone. Welcome into East Alabama Today. Again, I'm Carl Brady. Thank you for being with us on the program. Today, we're going to be talking about getting your tax returns done. We still have a little bit of time to go before the April deadline comes up. So we want to bring in now Traci Pondick from the RSVP of Etowah County. Traci, great to have you back on the show again. With our once a year visit about RSVP and tax returns.
That's right.
Well, this year you guys are doing it again. You do in the neighborhood of 2,000 tax returns every year, free to pretty much anybody in the community who wants it. Most people, you know, the target audience for the free tax return is, you know, low income, senior citizens and things like that. But you have some grants and some programs that you work with that allows you to do this for anybody.
That's right. That's right. This is an IRS program. They actually have two programs, but one is targeted for senior citizens and the other is for low-income people. But according to the IRS, a low-income family in Alabama is a family that makes less than $62,000 a year. So that covers a lot of people.
A lot of people.
A lot of people. So, but we don't like to turn anybody away. So if you come, and all of our volunteers are very honest, they'll tell you if they can't do your tax return. But it would have to be somebody who maybe owned their own business, had a lot of rental property, or tons and tons of stocks and investments, that kind of thing.
Yeah, if they get too complicated, it's hard to work it into the schedule for the free tax stuff.
That's true. So those people need a paid preparer, and they can afford one. So, but we do. Anybody, like I said, that comes in, most of the time we'll do their return. We do have 8 locations where we do this. We try to make it as convenient as possible. Now, our main location is in the Etowah County Courthouse, and they're there 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. There are a couple of things I want to point out for this season. Of course, every year there's something new or different.
Always, they're always changing things. Yes.
And of course, with the Affordable Care Act, the health care, everybody should get a Form 1095, but there's 3 different kinds. There's a 1095A, B, or C. If you get the 1095A, which that means that you got health care through the marketplace, we have to have that to file your return. And we're seeing, I just don't want anybody, because we've done it already several times. People have come in and we ask, did you have health care? And they say, yes, I had health care. Fine, we'll do your return. And then they get that 1095 later. and we have to go back, and it's a problem. They're not going to get their refund. Or it's going to be delayed. They'll get their refund, but it's delayed by several weeks. So we just want to make sure if you did go through the marketplace to get health care, that you bring that 1095A with you.
Right. Bring those forms with you. Very important. It's just as important as your W-2s and all the other forms.
Right.
Now, this is required to have that. You got to make sure you bring that form with you. Now, somebody who doesn't go through the marketplace, they have insurance through their own, they bought their own insurance, or they have insurance through work, there's still a form that they'll get.
They will get a form. We don't have to have that, though.
Oh, okay.
If you got insurance privately or through your employer, then that will not affect your return. It's just the ones who went through the marketplace. We submit the returns, they're e-filed, and the IRS has the return, but they see that. They say, okay, we don't have that information yet, and so it just holds them up. And I hate that. We see so many young people. I hate it for the young people too, because they're waiting on that refund. That's what they look for every year, and it's held up for 6 to 8 weeks, just because of that.
If you don't have all your paperwork.
Right. The other thing that's different this year is, and this is because of identity theft, but we have to have a driver's license or picture ID. We always ask for that before, but this year for Alabama returns, we have to actually put your driver's license number and the issue date and the expiration date on the return for Alabama, or we can't e-file it.
Yeah.
And that is for identity theft. Last year we saw several people who had been affected by identity theft. I mean, not the people doing the identity theft, but the people on the other end, where we filed their return and it came back rejected. And we had to tell them, somebody else has already used your Social Security number. And so that's the state of Alabama's way of combating that. So
yeah, they had to implement that because there were becoming so many problems even with tax returns.
That's right. Yeah, so we have to have it, even if you know the person who's preparing your return and you've known them your entire life, that we still have to have that information to put on your return so we can file it. So those are the things that are new and different this year.
Yeah, and because you do the e-filing, you generally are going to get your returns back pretty quickly. I know federal returns, mine was 7 to 10 days, not a big deal at all. Came back. Your state of Alabama returns, good luck.
Whenever,
knows? Yeah, who knows?
Maybe this summer.
Right. Even on the Department of Revenue website, when you go and check where's my refund, it says your refund will be processed in the due course of business. It won't give you a projection on that one now, which maybe we need to talk to Governor Bentley about all these raises he gave his staff recently, and maybe get some of our refund money back. But we won't go into politics too much here. But you guys have really good people who are doing this. They're retired accountants, retired CPAs, and they go through IRS training, and they're really, really good at what they do, of asking you the right questions and doing everything they can to help you bring as much of your own money back to your house. That's
right. They know everything about all of the credits that you might have coming to you. Anything like that, they'll do everything legally possible to get you as much money back or keep you from paying, make you pay as little as possible. And we find out things every year. But yes, this is, we have retired teachers too who do this for us, and I don't know how to say it. All of our volunteers are so good at doing this, and they know what they're doing, but they have to pass a test every year too, that for the IRS, since this is their program. But they pass that test, and the difference in that is that they know what they're doing, and they know what's legally correct.
They know the correct thing to do. Yeah.
That's right, and so they're going to do it all for you. I don't worry about our volunteers as much as I might worry about some, and I'm not even going like for H&R Block or Jackson Hewitt, who are legitimate businesses, but some fly-by-night companies. Every year we get stories of people who come in to us and they say, well, last year, I got this letter from the IRS, and when I tried to call the person who did my taxes, their phone number was disconnected, or I never could get an answer. So you have to be careful. Our volunteers know what they're doing, and they're going to tell you up front whether it's legal or not, and if you should do this or if you shouldn't do this, and then it's in your hands.
Right, and I'm always amazed at the questions that they ask. You know, I feel like I go in extremely prepared, and I've got everything laid out. I've got a whole packet of everything. Everything's there, but they always come up with the questions. Are you sure about this? Or do you do this? Did you spend money on this year? Did you? They have tons of questions, and just it's amazing how knowledgeable they are at what you can do to maximize what you're getting.
They fuss at me sometimes because of the program. We have this huge intake sheet we have to fill out. It's 4 pages long, right? And they're like, why do you need all that? But now the program in itself, anybody can apply to do this through the IRS, and there are other groups who do it, and they might not have the volunteer base that we have.
Right.
And most of our volunteers have been doing this for a long time, and they know what they're doing. But if you get new kids, in fact, there are groups of students, like college students, who do this, and they may not know all those things that our volunteers might already know. So that helps them. That's that guide that the IRS says, okay, you have to ask this and this and this and this and this. Our volunteers may not look at all that intake form. Yeah. Because they know what to ask you, but that's what it's for. It's to make you think and to make the volunteers more aware of, okay, have I checked everything? And you know, I guess a lot of people are like me. I'm thinking I know a lot, and you might hear, well, it's better to file married filing separately, or you know, I want to do the deductions, itemize my deductions. You know, I don't know what's worse or better, but they do. They can say, okay, why do you want to do that? They can look at your information and decide what's best for you. And while for the federal, it may not pay you to itemize deductions, so a lot of times that will help you on your state return. So they know what to put where and how to make it work.
Absolutely. Let's look at those 8 locations and talk about the locations a little bit, or we don't have time to talk about them much, but you know, the Etowah County Courthouse, you mentioned that Monday through Friday 10 till 3 is when that's available. Hoax Bluff Water Department, you have volunteers there on Mondays from noon until 4. You have one outside of Etowah County, and that's up in Cherokee County in Center at the Center Administration Building. That's every Tuesday from 10 until 2. Rainbow City Community Center on Wednesdays from noon until 4. Elliott Community Center over in Alabama City, that's Thursdays from 11 until 3. The George Wallace Senior Center, that's the Glencoe Senior Citizen Center, Tuesdays and Fridays from 10 until 2. And now that part of that road there is closed off because of the bridge being rebuilt, so you may have to find your way around a little bit if you're going to that one, but it's back over there. And the Walnut Grove Library, only on the first Wednesday, which is coming up in April. Only one more time there, 10 until 2. And then by appointment at the Family Success Center, which is over on East Broad Street in East Gadsden, by appointment on Saturdays. No, I don't have a towel listed on this.
I'm sorry, I don't have it. Okay, they're Tuesdays from 10 to 2 at Carnes.
Okay, Carnes Recreation Center in Otala. So we have another one of those there. And that one again is, what'd you say, Tuesdays?
Tuesdays 10
until 2. So, well, all right, we need to take a commercial break, so we'll do that and come back in just a moment to talk a little bit more about RSVP in general, how you can be involved and what else is going on with the volunteers through RSVP. We'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back into East Alabama today. Again, we're talking about the RSVP, the Retired and Senior Volunteer Program of Etowah County. We've been talking about the free tax preparation services that they do. Before we move on to something else, that's how late does that go? April 15th is usually our deadline, but there's actually an extra Monday, an extra day to that or something like that, is it?
We're not working that day. No, we're going to go through the 15th.
You're going through the 15th,
Friday,
okay.
So that sounded like a good time to stop.
Yeah.
So all of our sites, those that are just one day a week, will be open that week on their days. But the 15th, we will be at the Etowah County Courthouse doing tax returns.
If you want to be one of those who waits to the very last minute to do yours. Well, let's talk about RSVP in general. Here in Etowah County, how many volunteers you guys have out in the community now?
We have a little over 300 volunteers who are active. I know it's a lot. So we do a lot of different things besides the tax program. This is our biggest thing, and it's the most focused thing that we do. But we have volunteers at we work with about 50 different nonprofits who use volunteers and need volunteers to do their business. Red Cross, the museum downtown, the Museum of Art, the Cultural Arts Center, the library, Habitat for Humanity, all of the senior nutrition centers, hospitals. They need volunteers. They couldn't survive without them. And so we have volunteers, or we try to get volunteers for all of those places. So we have a lot of volunteers out there doing their thing all year long. One new thing that we've started is, we're trying to get started, is a Reading Buddy program. And we've got some volunteers that said they would like to work in elementary schools with children who might be lagging in reading ability or not staying at grade level, and reading and comprehension. That's a big thing, and I didn't know this till I read a little bit about it, but it said that in third grade, if a child is not reading at grade level, then they have something like a 50 or 60% more chance of having a harder time later in life, being incarcerated, dropping out of school, all that terrible stuff. So we want to keep them reading and understanding what they read.
That sounds like a fun program. There's a lot of volunteers who would be willing to do that. Just go into the schools, read with the kids, and I know the schools and the kids would appreciate it, because I get invited in to do some of those kind of things on a fairly regular basis, and those kids are just craving outside attention. You know, they're stuck in the school with the same teacher all day long for 9 or 10 months, and they love it when somebody else comes by and takes the day for them a little bit, reads a couple of books to them, talks to them a little bit. So it's a very rewarding volunteer opportunity to work with kids like that.
Yeah, so we're starting that. We've already got one lady working at Glencoe Elementary, and they like it. And of course the teachers, you know, they have 20, 25, 30 kids in a classroom. They can't pay attention, give each child that individual attention like they need. So it helps both ways. Yeah,
it does. Now, to be a volunteer through your program, retired and senior volunteer program, what's the age? You got to be over the age of
55.
55. That's what I thought.
That's the only requirement we have.
Yeah.
No other requirement. No income levels. No nothing. Just 55 years old, and we'll put you to work.
You know, in society nowadays, for free. That's right. You work for free because you're volunteering. That's the volunteer. But in society nowadays, you know, there was a time, by the time you got to 55, 60 years old, you were at death's door and you had nothing left to contribute. But that's not the case anymore. People are living longer. People are smarter than they used to be. And once you retire or get to that age of retirement, you still, most people still have a lot to contribute to society. And I think of the knowledge and experience that the people in that age group can contribute is valuable, and a valuable service by volunteering even after they retire.
Right, because we have to take advantage of that before it's gone. But you're right, and that's how RSVP started actually in the late 60s. I think it was 68 or 69. Somebody went to the White House, or somebody at the White House said, hey, you know, people aren't retiring and sitting on their front porches anymore in the rocking chair and not doing anything. They're living longer, and so we have been in Etowah County since I think 72.
Wow.
And it is, RSVP is a federal program. We go through the Corporation for National and Community Service, who has Senior Corps, which is what a RSVP is, and also AmeriCorps. And you know, AmeriCorps is like the Peace Corps, except they call them AmeriCorps members, go to other places in this country instead of going to a foreign country to serve. They do that, but they can go, you know, to all 50 states and help with different things. So all that's lumped together under the corporation. Also, all the volunteer service kind of thing is lumped there, and that's what we are. But we do, and there are other senior core programs we don't have in Etowah County, but there's the foster grandparent program, and they deal just with children, and also the senior companion program, who deals just with other senior citizens, trying to keep them living independently for as long as possible. But RSVP is a one-stop shop because our volunteers can do anything. We can work with the kids, we can work with older adults, we volunteer at the Humane Society, you know, help with animals, whatever you want to do, and if there's a need for it in our community, we like to match you up.
Yeah, so if you're interested, if you're a senior and you're interested in volunteering, that kind of thing, then get in touch with your office, and you'll go over their skills. What do they have to offer? What do they like to do? What are their talents? And then you can help find them a good match for their skills.
Right, that's what we like to do. And even if you want to try something new, you know, I mean, this is the time to do it, right?
And you know, a lot of the things you'll provide people to work in the office or answer the phone, like at an agency or something like that. Now, as an RSVP volunteer, how many hours am I expected to commit to this volunteering program?
There's no limit on that. One of the more tangible ways we have of thanking our volunteers is our volunteer recognition luncheon. We do that once a year for all of our volunteers. The limit on that is 20 hours a year. So that's
as long as you work, as long as you can volunteer 20 hours a year, you're qualified for that.
One of the other things, and I'm crossing my fingers, we've never had to use this, but we do have a volunteer liability insurance that we provide our volunteers if they get hurt while they're volunteering. Now, it doesn't start, you know, they start with their own insurance, but where their insurance leaves off, then this can pick up and help with any expenses. You know, and we pray that never happens, and we never have to use that, but it's there in case we need it. And so those are some of the biggest, plus, you know, the fact that they get to try new things. And that's the way a lot of our volunteers have gotten into their little niches is they come see us and they think they might want to do this, and then we say, well, we need people here. Do you want to try? And they try, and they might try 5 different things before they find what it is they want to do. But we have the ability to say, do this or go here.
With 300 volunteers in the county and so many opportunities available, that's amazing. But we're going to take another commercial break. Be back in a moment to wrap the show up. So hang out with us as we continue with East Alabama Today. Welcome back into East Alabama Today. Our final segment of the program today, we've been talking with Traci Pondick about RSVP, the tax prep services, volunteer services throughout the community. And let's take a look one more time at the tax prep sites. All of these locations, you see the open times and when they're available, what days they're available. Again, that's for the free tax preparation services through RSVP, and it's open to anybody. You don't have to be low income, you don't have to be a senior citizen. Anybody can take advantage of this service as long as your returns are not too complicated, like a business return or bunches of rental properties and things like that. So you can check that out. Go to the website etowahcounty.org and go to the RSVP page there to find more information on RSVP. And of course, you can just simply check it out and become an RSVP volunteer, or talk to Traci or any of the other volunteers who do this, and get out of the house a little bit. You know, don't just sit in the rocking chair and waste away. Continue to contribute even in your senior and retired years. Well, Traci, thank you so much for being with us again on the program. Always a pleasure to have you. And folks, always a pleasure to have you as well. Thanks for joining us here on East Alabama Today.